Thank you Squarespace for sponsoring today's video.
Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lila and today I will be sharing with you my favorite art supply. Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caro and today I will be sharing with you my favorite art supplies, a little information of why I like them, where do they come from, as well as how they work. So stick around and I hope that you love today's video. So for the past few years, I've been going back and forth in between Artisa and Winsor & Newton. The Winsor & Newton have been my favorite watercolors for the past 15 years or so. They are very high quality, they're very pigmented, they are light fast. I've been using their series Cotman's watercolors and they are pretty affordable for the amount of quality they have, even though they are on a higher range of price compared to all the watercolors out in the market. I would recommend Cotman series to any beginner artist as well as any professional artist. I also recommend the Winsor & Newton professional series. I do think that Winsor & Newtons are definitely worth the investment. They're just amazing. 3 years ago, I tried Artisa for the first time when they reached out to me and sent me some free art supplies. And I was really surprised by the quality of the watercolors that they have. They have a lot of pigment and they are vegan in comparison to the Winsor & Newton. Winsor & Newton has some colors which aren't vegan. As you can see, Artisa's watercolors are very pigmented. And I would definitely recommend Artisa's watercolors for a beginner artist or someone that is trying to do this. Then again, they are completely synthetic, so they are not my go-to any longer. I've been trying to switch to sustainable watercolors and natural handmade watercolors for the past few years. Recently tried Case for Making. I'm only trying their natural pigment, earth-based and mineral-based watercolors, and these have become by far my favorite watercolors so far. They are way more expensive than Artisa. They are more expensive than Winsor & Newton, but the quality that I'm getting with these ones is not comparable to anything else. Then again, I do mix watercolors with gouache and with other drawing inks sometimes, so the quality of these might be a little bit too high whenever I am mixing different mediums together. Let me show you a little bit of how they all work. And these are Case for Making. These have become my favorite watercolors. I definitely believe that the price is an investment worth making if watercolors are your main medium and if you are really looking into falling in love with a pair of watercolors. Okay, so as far as brushes go, I have 3 types of brushes that I currently use. The first one are these very cheap brushes that I've been using. They are like $1 each. They're pretty affordable. I use these for the biggest part of my paintings, and the only downside is the plastic in the handles, as well as the fact that the hair is not the best quality, so you go through them pretty easily if you are very rough when painting. If you go smoother with them, they can last a long while. Even though these are pretty cheap, they rarely have hair growing elsewhere, so they make very precise lines. And if you've seen my artwork before, you know I am pretty OCD for very precise lines. Then these light blue brushes are my favorite of all times. They are by Princeton, and the main reason why I love them is because they come in the smallest sizes that I've been able to find, and they have a very long lasting lifetime. I use this for all the teeny tiny details in my artwork. I usually get them in sizes 18/0, 10/0. They are all round brushes, and let me show you how tiny these short liners can really go to. And Princeton has bigger brushes. I've tried them and they are not bad at all. But more than anything, I love them for their tiny short liners and round brushes. And as you may know, I am trying to switch to more sustainable art supplies. These I got from Sugar House Ceramics, which is a Vermont-based ceramics company. They also happen to make these brushes from their fallen maple tree sticks. And I love how these ones work. I am not only switching to working on these completely, as the smallest size are these ones here, and they are definitely way bigger than my 18/0. So I won't be buying the clear cheap ones any longer. We'll keep the Sugar House Ceramics ones with the Princeton short liners. As far as pens go, I have two favorite ones. Ones are the Rotring isographs or rapidographs, as well as the Pigma Micron. The main difference in between both of them is that Pigma Micron are single-use pens, while Rotring are reusable because their ink cartridge can be refillable as many times as you wish. The only thing that you need to take into consideration is that you need to clean them very well, because if ink gets dry, then it will obstruct the way and you won't be able to use them again. Both of them come in various sizes and I will show you. So with both brands, you can achieve very teeny tiny details. If you use the Rotrings, you could use the 0.1. If you use the Microns, you can use 0.05. Also, one of the main differences in between them is that Micron's tips are made out of gel. So with time, the width that you originally had will shift and will become thicker, while Rotring has a metal tip, so the width of the tip won't change within time. You only need to be very careful when you work with the smallest widths, as they are fragile and they can break easily. So before we continue with today's video, I want to take a few seconds of your time to thank Squarespace, who is today's video sponsor and who is also my website, domain, and online shop host. So if you're looking to present your work with Squarespace, professional portfolio designs, display projects, and customizable galleries, and add password protected pages to share private work with clients, we have partnered up to give you 10% of your first website or domain. You can use the code Caro Arevalo and get a 2-week trial, and once you're ready to launch, you can use the same code Caro Arevalo to get the discount. Thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring today's video. For my circular work, whenever I'm doing mandalas, I work with circular rulers for everything that is up to this size. The biggest circle that I can do with my circular rulers is around 3 inches, and whenever I want to do something bigger but smaller than around 17 inches, I use a compass, and after that I have a 2 or 3 part compass depending on how big we want to go. These circular rulers are wonderful. They become a very playful tool for me whenever I'm doing mandalas, as mandalas become a very intuitive work for me, and I love just being able to see how each of these sizes would look on my work. They are also great because the rulers come with lines, so you can see where to place the circle within your mandala to put it in the right symmetrical place. The circular rulers are also a wonderful tool, as you can use pens whenever you work with them, in comparison to a regular compass that usually comes with a pencil, and then you have to do your pen work on top of it. Whenever working with compass and you don't want to use a pencil, there are these tools, I don't know their names, but you can take your pencil side off and put these inside, and then you can work with your rapidographs. And for the bigger circles, I use this 2 or 3 part compass. Let me show you how it works. Okay, so this compass is by far my favorite tool, as you have just like a compass, one for your ink, one to grab the paper, and you can go as big as you want. If this is too small for the size of the circle you want to make, you can use a second one, and it comes with this fun part. So you just need to put it here, close it up, adjust it. Now they are together. You put this here, and you can go as big as you need to go. And for every one of these compass that you buy, you get 2 of these pieces. I bought 3 of them, so I can just keep on putting them together and making huge circles with these. Something that I love about this compass, you can change the part where you have the graphite. And you can add this little tool that is made for rapidographs. You can place whatever width of rapidograph you want to work with, and now you can use this to make your circles. Ta-da-da! And this is my favorite big paper. This is a roll cold press paper by Artisa. It's a watercolor paper. It's a 51-inch by 10-yard roll. And Artisa is one of the only paper companies that still uses mold-made paper. It comes with deckled edges on the top and the bottom. And something that I really love about working on this paper is, besides the size, and it really makes me able to work on watercolors on very big paper. I also love that the fact that it's made in mold makes all the fiber not run into one specific side, but whenever it's been made in the mold, the fibers are in all directions, which makes it a way more resistant paper. You can really make a lot of layers of watercolors with these. You can use it for calligraphy, pastels,
silk screen, intaglio, a lot of different techniques you can draw on it, charcoal,
etc, etc. And I don't get cold pressed paper all the time. Sometimes I also use hot press, and that depends on what is it exactly that I'm using the paper for. It is mold made in France, and it has neutral pH, which makes it a more resistant paper throughout time. And this is the paper that I use for my biggest pieces, which are the pieces that I work on most often. And whenever I'm doing smaller artwork, let me show you what I use. I always shop from Legion, which is a Brooklyn-based paper sourcing company. So they source paper from literally over 3,000 different paper companies from around the world. They have a eco-friendly philosophy, so they always source handmade paper, chlorine-free paper. All of the paper that they source comes from either sustainably sourced cotton or cork, plant fibers, vegetables, flowers, etc. The paper that I'm currently using from Legion is a hot press watercolor paper by Stonehenge, which is one of my favorite paper brands as well. It's pretty affordable, and I love to get these pads. Whenever I'm working on smaller artwork, I love to get pre-stretched pads. So pretty much whenever you add more layers of water to the paper won't rink. The only downside to working with these pads is that you cannot take your artwork out of it until you're completely done with it. If you take it out before you're done with it, it will start wrinkling to the sides. So that's pretty much all of my favorite art supplies. I hope this video was helpful. I'm going to be linking most, if not all, of the art supplies in the video's description. If you like what you see on this channel, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to follow me on Instagram where I post pretty often, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!